Hi my beauties, welcome back to Younger. Today I'm going to be talking about the 7 most important active ingredients to look for in skincare products, whether they're medical grade or drugstore grade. So before I move on, I ask that you like, comment, and subscribe and share this video with anyone who may find it useful. The reason why I want to talk about active ingredients is because skincare is so huge in today's world, and there's so many influencers out there talking about skincare products, and we name drop these different ingredients, but as the nerdy scientist that I am, I want to educate you and be a source of truth and scientific background and kind of talking about the technology between all these different ingredients and how they work, so that when you're shopping for different skincare products, you kind of know a little bit about them from a scientific and biological standpoint, and you can pick and choose what's right for you. And I also want to mention that it's not important to have every single one of these key ingredients in your morning and nighttime skincare regimen. Having even just 1 out of the 7 would be beneficial. If you have more, obviously the better, but I don't want you guys to get stressed out about making sure that you have every single one of these active ingredients at some point in the day throughout your skincare regimen. I don't even have that, and although I do pile on the serums and the creams and all the products in the morning and night when I do my skincare regimen, sometimes I skip a few, or I'll eliminate or omit a few on one day or one night, and it's not really important to have every single key ingredient all the time. I always make skincare kind of analogous to fitness. It's like if you go to the gym, you're not going to do the free weights and the machines and cardio and work out with your trainer and do resistance band. You're going to probably have, you know, a free weight day, or you'll have a machine day, or you'll even switch it up with the body area. You'll have leg day or you'll have arm day. You don't do everything all at once, all in one day. So skincare is kind of the same. And what I always tell patients is never be married to a skin line. So say a skin line has growth factors, antioxidants, peptides, Retin-A, all within the skin line. You can pick and choose different products from a skin line and mix and match them and just rotate through them once every month or once every 2 months. Patients always ask, how often should I be switching up my skincare regimen? And the answer is simple. When you run out of the bottle or the tube or the pump, then just replace it with another type of similar active ingredient from another skin line, or even a whole different active ingredient. So there's no right or wrong way. You can mix and match all these, and the more you mix and match them and keep your skin guessing, the better. So you don't want to get stuck in a rut with either one particular skincare line or one particular product that you're kind of using over and over again. So when I put on my serums in the morning and at night, I kind of pick and choose from different skin lines, and I'll use that for a couple weeks, and then when I run out of, like, say, an eye cream or a Retin-A, then I refill that and I order more. And so all of the different timing of these different regimens and skincare products are going to be on like a different pace. You're not going to just every month out with the old, and within you get a whole new bunch of creams, and then another month later you just get the new one. It's just good to kind of just keep it naturally random like that, and your skin will thank you for it. It'll respond better, and you're going to keep it guessing. So the first active ingredient that I want to talk about, because it's probably the most controversial, is growth factors. So growth factors are in a lot of skin lines, and this is more medical grade, of course, but growth factors are tricky because there's a lot of controversy. So I remember when I was in residency, I actually questioned the scientist who was a formulator for a very world-renowned skin line, and he was a genius, and he was from MIT, and I wanted to pick his beautiful brain because he was formulating these different skincare products with these different growth factors. Now in medical school, we learned that growth factors in a high quantity can be detrimental, not beneficial, because you increase cellular turnover, you increase cell cycles, which can go out of control and kind of get out of hand and create a tumor. So you don't want to be dousing skin with growth factors that's going to cause a skin cancer, obviously. You're not going to want to douse melanocytes with growth factors that's going to make them replicate out of control, lose their cell signaling, and have this out of control cell cycle that's going to create a melanoma, of course. So I drilled this poor scientist and asked him all these types of questions, but he broke it down for me very methodically in a very scientific manner that made sense to me. So when you have a very limited amount of one type of growth factor in a large quantity, that's not good for the skin. That can create tumors, it can create skin cancer, it can create really bad things. But when you have a large array of thousands of many different types of growth factors in very small quantities, then that is safe and effective for the skin, and they've done a lot of research and a lot of data and a lot of scientific analysis in the effects of the skin, and it has shown not to be detrimental, not to be harmful, and to actually have a lot of anti-aging effects on the skin. So what these growth factors do, what are growth factors anyway? So growth factors are cell signaling mediators which float through the extracellular matrix. So when you're looking at the skin under the microscope or on electron microscopy, you have these little skin cells, and there's different types of cells in the skin. There's keratinocytes, which make up the majority of the skin cells. You have melanocytes, which are the pigment producing cells. Those are ones that get stimulated by UV light, and they make a bunch of melanin to create pigment to protect your DNA and your skin from the harmful effects of UV light and break down your collagen and so forth. You have mast cells, which are inflammatory / neurocells in the skin. You have blood vessels, you have fibroblasts, which synthesize collagen. There's all sorts of cell types in the skin, and they all communicate with one another. So when we're talking about products that maintain overall skin health and actually have a change in cellular biology of the skin, it affects the way that these cells communicate with each other, and it makes them effectively communicate with each other. When cells stop talking to each other, the cellular turnover and renewal starts to decrease, the collagen synthesis starts to decrease, your skin cells start to go to sleep, and they start being active and they stop working, and your skin gets dull and listless and aged. So you want to keep your cells communicating with each other in a very healthy environment and a healthy cellular milieu. So what happens is, you have these cells, and the spaces in between the cells, which we call this extracellular matrix. Sorry I'm getting so nerdy, but I'm a scientist and I love this stuff. I'm a doctor at heart, so you have to excuse my scientific breakdown of this, but I know you guys understand this and you follow this, and that's why you follow me, because you want to understand the technical and scientific background to all of these products and how they work. So when you have growth factors, it enhances the cellular communication between one another. So a keratinocyte can say to a fibroblast, hey man, you need to upregulate your collagen, you need to remodel that collagen and make me a ton more to get the skin to look younger, to look smoother, to be tighter. So that's what growth factors do. You can kind of think of them as little keys floating through the extracellular matrix, which is the space between the cells, and all the cells on their cellular membranes on the outside have these little receptors, which are like the locks. So the keys are floating around, and they get to a lock and they unlock it, and when that key and lock configuration match, it produces a cellular transduction cascade, which will upregulate the transcription and translation of the DNA inside the nucleus of the cell to make more collagen, to replicate faster, to make more pigment production. So that's how these cells communicate. And so when you're using these growth factors, it's essentially bathing these cells in signals that are going to tell the skin to increase the cellular regeneration, repair, renewal, and overall health. And so that's how these growth factors work. And when there's a large array of many different kinds of growth factors in very small quantities, for example, like in TNS Essential Serum, or in even Zeo Skin Health Obaji's plant-based growth factors, this is how these growth factors work and stimulate the skin to act younger and to act healthier and to kind of communicate with each other better. So I hope that wasn't over your heads, but I don't think it was. That's how growth factors work. And the scare that a lot of medical professionals have is that we don't want to induce any tumors or skin cancers anywhere, and the answer to that is to just kind of make sure that you're using an FDA cleared, of course, skin line that has done overwhelming research and data to make sure that this is safe and healthy for your skin. So any medical grade skincare line is going to be FDA approved and shown to have health benefits without the detrimental deleterious effects of the negative impact of growth factors. But if you want to stay away from growth factors altogether, which even some of my colleagues do, I get that. I just want to get the information out there too, and you take it or leave it and do what you want with it. So moving on to other active ingredients that are really essential in skincare products. Moving on to the next one, of course, are vitamin A derivatives. Sorry if I feel like I'm being redundant with vitamin A, Retin-A, but this is probably the product that has the most overwhelming data and statistical research showing the overall skin benefits of Retin-A. Retin-A helps regulate the cell cycle, it helps stimulate collagen, it has very potent chemoprotective effects and anti-aging effects, and there's different formulations of Retin-A. I actually posted this on my Instagram story today. There's various forms of Retin-A. You can have adapalene, which is actually over the counter, available without a prescription for the first time. There is tretinoin, and there's different percentages. You can have 0.05%, 0.1%, 0.02%. You can have different vehicles. You can have it in a cream, a gel emulsion, a micro emulsion, and you can kind of increase or decrease the potency of the Retin-A by the type of Retin-A or vitamin A derivative it is, or the vehicle or the strength. But having Retin-A on board is really essential and is important. Now, the difference between retinol and Retin-A, and I have another YouTube video just on this topic alone. Retinol is an over-the-counter strength. It still has a lot of skin benefits. You can use retinol in the morning. Unlike Retin-A or tretinoin, which is prescription-based, you can only use that at night because it actually gets inactivated by the sunlight. So, and when I use Retin-A, I usually mix a pearl-size amount mixed with a hydrator 1-to-1, and I apply it to all areas in the skin. And a lot of people ask, how close can you get it to your eye? I always say that this is the orbital bone right here underneath your eye. Never go superior or medial to that. So try to stay kind of below that area. You can get up close to the eye, but via capillary action or kind of diffusion of the product while you're sleeping, you don't want that getting into the cornea or conjunctiva of the eye and causing all this kind of redness and eye irritation. So I would just say you can get close to the eye, but just not too close. And try to stay away from the nares and the oral commissures here of the mouth, because that can cause some irritation and dry chapped lips. So that's my Retin-A spiel. You can use it on your neck and chest, but be very careful. Only maybe use it once a week, and probably use a 1 to 5 amount of hydrator to Retin-A, with less Retin-A to 5 times the amount of the hydrator to kind of cut down on that irritation, since that skin is so thin and with a low density of oil glands and a more more risk for sensitivity. So that's your Retin-A. Moving on to other active ingredients which are important, alpha hydroxy acid. So there's lots of different alpha hydroxy acids. Salicylic acid is a beta hydroxy acid, but my favorite alpha hydroxy acid besides lactic acid is glycolic acid. So glycolic acid is a very natural and safe lightener and brightener. It also serves as a chemical exfoliant. So I actually use 10% glycolic acid every day. I struggle with acne and melasma, and I don't have any makeup on my skin right now, but you'll see if I stop using these products, I get acne and I get melasma, and you know, I'm on birth control, I've had 2 kids, I breastfed them both, and I had melasma patches all over my face. When I don't use it, my skin pigmentation is totally uneven and my texture and tone is not blended and even. But when I do use these products, it does help out a lot. So let me be a walking example of that for you. So using 10% glycolic acid every morning in my skincare regimen basically gives a chemical exfoliation, which helps. It does stimulate collagen, but it helps brighten and lighten the skin, because you're basically taking off that dead skin cell layer, which is the stratum corneum on the uppermost surface of the skin, and it just kind of desquamates that uneven texture and tone. So what happens is, when you look in the skin under the microscope, for every 1 melanocyte, which is a pigment producing cell, you have 10 keratinocytes, which are the regular skin cells that make up the majority of the skin. So the melanosomes are kind of distributing the pigmentation, and so when you have 1 melanocyte, usually in a melasma patch or a freckle, if you're looking at like a brown area of the skin that's darker than the other areas of the skin, under the microscope what that looks like is there's melanocytes there that are all revved up and they're overactive and they're just making way too much pigment, versus the melanocyte next door, who is at a normal pace and making melanin at a very healthy, normal, regulated pace. So what the glycolic acid does, and what hydroquinone and other brighteners and lighteners do, is it kind of calms down that 1 melanocyte that's out of control, or that 1 patch of melanocytes or area of melanocytes that are out of control. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because a lot of people don't want to use an alpha hydroxy acid or a natural lightener or brightener, because they don't want their skin overall to get lighter. So say somebody has a natural, beautiful olive complexion, or say they're an ethnic heritage where they have this beautiful pigmentation of their skin. They're like, I don't want my skin lighter. What these products do is they basically they dampen down the activity of the overactive cells, so it's not going to do anything to the healthy cells that are producing pigment at a normal state, a normal production level. It's only going to calm down the melanocytes that are active, out of control. So that's what glycolic acid and some of these, natural brighteners like ferulic acid, goji berry, coffee berry, and even like a hydroquinone or seaweed extracts, that's what they all do. They dampen down the overactive cells. So it's just going to treat the brown spots, and it's not going to do anything to the unaffected skin. So you don't have to worry about your skin overall getting lighter. It's just going to have the even tone. And when you look in the microscope, if you look at skin cells where there's freckles, all the pigmentation's at different layers of the skin. When you use these products and all the pigment goes in the same layer and it's uniform throughout the skin, then clinically patients present with this glow, and that's what gives them that radiant glow. Their skin's all the same color, all the pigments at the same level. So glycolic acid 10%, I use that every morning. I'm a big fan of it. You can even get it over the counter. You can get medical grade. So I think that that's a key component in your active ingredients as well. Okay, moving along, sunscreen. Of course, that's going to be an important component of any skin regimen, especially during the morning time. I like to put my sunscreen on. Sunscreen always goes on last. You have to remember, when you have your skin, it's clean, it's washed, it's fresh. You put all your serums, your antioxidants, all your creams on, and then you seal it with sunscreen. And you can or cannot put makeup on over it. I usually don't wear makeup. I just use a tinted sunscreen, which is my makeup. And after I put on all my serums and creams in the morning, my antioxidants and all the products that I put on my sunscreen afterwards, and then I reapply at noon. I either put sunscreen on again at noon, or I take like a Color Science bronzer mineral-based brush and kind of just throw it in my purse, and I do it when I'm in the car or in clinic, and I reapply at noon. And then even at night sometimes when I go out, I wear sunscreen. So that may sound crazy to you, but I do it for two reasons. Well, one, I live in Laguna and I'm right on the water and the beach, and every morning the sun comes up over the ocean, and I want to make sure that my skin's protected when I sleep in and wake up in the morning. But also, you have to remember that mineral-based sunscreens protect you against not only UVA1, UVA2, UVB rays, but also the HEV rays. You have to remember, with your tablets, with your cell phones, with your laptop computer screens, when you're sitting in bed at night and you see the glow of the screen on your face, that's breaking down collagen and causing premature aging. Not a lot, but enough to probably make a difference over a long period of time. So I always wear my sunscreen at night, and it's non-comedogenic. My skin can still breathe, and it blocks the high energy visible light from emitting off of my tablet or my laptop or even my phone. And so by protecting yourself against this over time, it'll help have anti-aging effects, and it'll help minimize the breakdown of collagen, because we're always on our phones and our devices with this high energy visible light coming through. So just keep in mind, I don't want to scare you guys or make you paranoid about that, but just keep that in mind when you're talking about sunscreens. You not only want a sunscreen that's going to block UVA or UVB, but you want one that's going to completely block the UV spectrum and go over into infrared and HEV light as well. So I always like mineral-based sunscreen. I don't recommend chemical-based sunscreen. Mineral-based, zinc or titanium, 8% or higher. So that's the key take-home message. Wear your sunscreen every day, reapply it, and wear zinc or titanium 8% or higher. So if it has at 8% zinc but 2% titanium dioxide, it's fine. As long as one of those is above 8%, you're fine. Don't get hung up on SPF. Something can be SPF 100 and have zero protection against the UVA light that is going to cause melasma, brown spots, sunspots, and dyspigmentation and pro-aging effects of like the sun. So UVB is what sunscreen relates to, and so that's only a small component of the UV spectrum. So I hope that makes sense. So moving on, I think we haven't talked about peptides yet. So peptides, and TNS Essential Serum by SkinMedica, you know I don't want to ever sell you guys anything, but that comes in like a dual pump. It comes with growth factors and peptides. It works really well together. It's an expensive medical grade skincare product. You guys don't have to get it, but I think I wanted to explain to you how that works, because it works in conjunction with the growth factors. And out of all the dermatologists in the world, I think that's the one at all of our meetings that we all agree is one of our favorites. And so it's very rare that hundreds of dermatologists will unanimously agree on one skincare product, but I think TNS Essential Serum is one of the best ones. You don't have to get that one, but having peptides in your products is really important. Now you can get drugstore, medical grade, whatever peptide formulation you decide to get. I want you to know why peptides are important. So peptides are important because it basically signals the cells in the skin to make collagen, to make elastin. And the way they do that is when your skin naturally breaks down collagen. Now this is a very depressing fact, but what happens is each decade you lose a certain amount of collagen. So that's why doing things like thermage and things that can stimulate collagen is really beneficial, especially at an early age, because you can collagen bank and build up your reserves. So when you lose it over time, that's the true meaning of anti-aging. So I know I always get off on these tangents, but basically when your skin breaks down collagen as you get older, the breakdown and byproducts of the breakdown of collagen are these peptides. So when you put peptides into the skin through a serum or a skincare product, the byproduct of collagen breakdown, which is these peptides, basically signal to the cells, hey, we're breaking down collagen, we need to make more. And so that's how these skincare products work. And the FDA did a really awesome study kind of showing this mechanism of action of how these peptides work, and that's how they work. So when your collagen breaks down as you get older, I think at 20%, you at 20 years of age, you have 80% of your collagen. In your 30s, you have 70% of your collagen. In your 40s, you have 60, and it keeps diminishing over time. And unless you're doing procedures or using products that are going to keep that collagen buildup in our skin, and peptides help in that mechanism by making our cells and our skin think that we're breaking down collagen and that we need to make more to replenish it. So that's how those work. So I think we covered a lot. I'm trying to see what else I forgot. Antioxidants, those are really important. I'm really a big fan of vitamin C, but as I mentioned before, ferulic acid, goji berry, seaweed extracts, plant-based extracts, these are all really important antioxidants. What antioxidants do, when you hear me say terms like free radical scavengers and super antioxidants, what these do is that they are free radical scavengers that kind of hunt around in the skin, or like an army going through your skin cells and your DNA and detecting any damage and either repairing it or getting rid of free radicals that are going to damage DNA. So this is a very oversimplification of things, but when you're in the sun, the UV light comes and it can mutate the DNA in our skin. And free radicals are generated, and when free radicals are floating around, it can cause DNA mutations and DNA damage. Damaged DNA can not only cause aging, but it can cause skin cancer and other skin ailments. So what these free radical scavengers do is they come up and they clean up all the free radicals to protect your skin. So we really like antioxidants. Also, vitamin C is a potent skin lightening agent as well. I know I say this all the time, but you have to make sure that your vitamin C is stable because it's a water-soluble, highly unstable molecule. So you could be putting your Sephora $300 cream that's a vitamin C on your skin, and by the time it passes through the epidermis into the dermis, it's not even active anymore, or only maybe 5% of it is active. So it's important to do your research and look up vitamin C formulations that stay stable in a high percentage. You want, when you put 100% of a vitamin C cream on your skin, when it passes through the epidermis, you want at least 60 to 90% of it to still be active and do its thing. So that's my spiel on vitamin C. Antioxidants, and we talked about peptides, we talked about growth factors, we talked about Retin-A. I think last but not least, humectants aren't like a totally essential component of skincare products, but they're important to retain moisture and to minimize transepidermal water loss, which is when moisture or water comes through the epidermis out into the atmosphere and can dry out our skin. So humectants kind of bind themselves in water. They bind anywhere from 7 to 10 times their size in a molecule. They bind themselves 10 times over in water, and they kind of keep the water inside the skin and prevent it from evaporating out. So I think that's pretty much it. Sorry, we're gonna have to pause here. We talked about growth factors, Retin-A, glycolic acid, peptides, humectants, retinol. I think we did everything. So I think we covered it all. I'm sure I forgot a couple active ingredients that are in a lot of skincare products, but in my opinion, these are the most important. And again, you don't have to have them every day, all the time, but at least have at least 1 or 2 in your regimen if you can. And if you take a break from them, it's okay. You don't always have to have these, but when you do, your skin will look its best. And you always want products that are going to actually change the biology of the skin. You don't want something that's going to sit on your skin and feel nice when you touch it, because it's the skin on your fingertips that's feeling the cream. You want to be able to have something that's going to pass through the skin and change the histology, change the physiology, and change the biology of the skin. And the way you know if that's happening is if you get a new skincare product or get a new skincare regimen and you use it for 1 week, 2 weeks, say a month, and you notice a change in your skin and your friends are commenting on your skin and saying that you look better, or your mom thinks your skin looks better, that's how you know that it's working. Not that it smells nice or that it's packaged in really cool packaging, or you were really excited at Sephora and Ulta and you splurged on a cream. You want to make sure that these products actually work and are changing skin biology, not that they smell nice and they're pretty and the packaging looks bomb. Okay, hope this helps you guys.